The courtroom goes silent. The only noise is the loud thud of the gavel of the judge, smashing onto the bench. Eyes shoot over to Kody Brown and his wives, their white faces rendered so under the bright fluorescent lighting. Then, with a voice that cuts through the silence, the judge declares, "This court acknowledges the evidence of a $7 million fraud scheme that implicates the Brown family." Gasps ring out from the gallery. Robyn covers her face in shock. Christine leans forward as though to hear each word. And Kody's jaw clenching, his knuckles pale as he clenches the defense table. And that, folks, was the day that everything came crashing down. For years, Sister Wives viewers had seen love, loyalty, and deception play out on television. But nobody ever thought it would come to this. The Browns, once the face of non-traditional family love, accused of financial improprieties so enormous they could destroy it all. Do you believe that the Brown family is guilty, or is this a trap? Leave your ideas in the comments. I'll be tuning in. It all starts weeks in advance of the trial. Reporters are buzzing around the courthouse, cameras flashing, and rumors spreading of secret accounts and unsavory investments. For the Browns, entering this hurricane is like entering a spotlight where every error, every falsehood, and every secret dollar will be laid bare. Kody enters first, wearing a dark suit that is too formal for his characteristic swagger. His golden locks are pushed back, but his eyes flicker anxiously. Bringing up the rear is Meri, impassive but with years of unspoken pain etched into her features. Janelle brings up the rear, hugging a fat binder of papers, her lips pursed into a stern line of resolve. Christine comes alone, her head held high, anger emanating from her with each step. And Robyn, ever tearful, holds on to Kody's arm, her mascara already smudged. The charges are serious. The Browns stand accused of using money from their TV reality show deals to feed secret shell companies, scamming business associates, and mishandling funds earmarked for family business. The figure? $7 million. Enough to not only break them, but possibly send them to prison. And here's the question that has the audience sitting on the edge of their seats: were they all in it together? Or is one person going to throw the rest under the bus? In the courtroom, the air is thick. You can practically breathe the tension, metal and dust, and too much sweat packed into wooden chairs. The prosecutor, an eyes-sharp woman with a voice that cuts like a blade, starts with her opening statement. Ladies and gentlemen, the Brown family constructed their empire on trust. Trust from their audience, trust from their network, trust from one another. But off camera, behind the smiles, they were staging one of the most calculated cons this state has ever witnessed. Christine squirms uncomfortably, as if each word is directed at her. Robyn says something to Kody, but he refuses to listen. Looking ahead, the defense, spearheaded by a smooth-talking lawyer retained by Kody, shoots back just as hard. This is a family misinterpreted, targeted because of their beliefs, their fame, and lifestyle. The Browns are unconventional. But fraud? $7 million? That is a fabrication. The jury watches, stone-faced, notebooks open, pens poised, and already you can sense it. The trial is not about money. It's about secrets, betrayal, and who cracks first. Flashback. Months before, Christine sits at her kitchen table, piles of financial records in front of her. She's livid. On one sheet of paper, she sees draws from an account she never even heard of. Hundreds of thousands of dollars vanishing into thin air. She confronts Kody that night. Kody, what is this? Where did this money go? Kody, striding back and forth, will not meet her gaze. Christine, you don't get it. It's business. You don't have to know anything about it. But Christine does know, and she continues to dig. Concurrently, Janelle, always keeping close tabs on the family finances, observes the same discrepancies. She reports her suspicions to Meri, who, exhausted from years of emotional detachment in her marriage, at long last confesses she too has doubts something is amiss. It is in these subtle discoveries, in hushed late-night phone calls between wives, that the seeds of this courtroom fight are sown. Back in court, it's Christine's turn on the witness stand. Her voice shakes initially, but becomes firmer as she testifies. I felt like I was part of this family. I trusted Kody. But when I read the bank statements, when I read the accounts, I knew something was off, and I couldn't remain quiet. Kody glares at her, his cheeks burning, his fists so tight the blue of the veins is visible. Robyn leans in close, hissing, "Don't react. Don't give them what they want." The gallery is on tenterhooks, each word embedding itself like flames. Christine doesn't weep. She doesn't falter. She speaks of clandestine meetings, withdrawals without explanation, and the suspicion which is growing that Kody, perhaps Robyn too, were draining money out of the family's grasp. And in that instant, you understand, this is not merely a trial for fraud. It's a conflict within the family itself. The largest question isn't if the Browns cashed the money in, it's who did the betraying. By the end of the first day, the family is torn. Christine exits surrounded by media personnel, not answering questions, but her face tells it all. She's vindicated. Janelle trails behind, silently, eyes filled with concern. Meri remains offstage, observing, weighing, uncertain where her allegiance lies. And then there's Robyn, holding on to Kody's arm so hard that it appears to hurt, whispering through tears, "We'll get through this. We have to." Kody, his jaw clenched, grumbles under his breath as cameras descend, "This is a witch hunt. And I'll prove it." The reporters yell questions. "Mr. Brown, did you steal $7 million? Christine, are you testifying against your own family? Robyn, did you know about the secret accounts?" No one replies. But the glances, the silence, the tension, they speak louder than any words ever could. And just when things seem like they're finally wrapping up, the prosecutor throws one final bomb. "Tomorrow we will also have evidence of offshore accounts that directly connect to Kody Brown." The courtroom gasps once more. Robyn staggers, almost crashing to the floor. Christine blinks as if expecting to get hit. And Kody bangs his fist down on the table, no longer able to contain his anger. The gavel thunders. Order is called by the judge, but it is too late. For now, the scandal is no longer $7 million. It's global. The second day of trial dawns not with rumors, but with thunderstorms. The doors of the courthouse burst open, and the reporters move forward en masse like a wave. Cameras flash, microphones poke toward Kody Brown, and the questions fall in thicker than they did before. But today is different. Today there's an air of foreboding, because everyone knows what's coming. The prosecutor had promised testimony about offshore accounts directly linked to Kody, and if she goes through with it, this case would be transformed from scandal to disaster. This is no longer merely about money. This is about lies, betrayal, and a family on the brink of destruction. The courtroom is less a bastion of justice, and more a stage where the darkest secrets are just waiting to be revealed. And here's the question on everyone's lips. If Kody falls, will one of his wives go down with him? Or will they save their own skin by turning on him? Keep reading with me, because the next hour is when it all comes apart. The judge bangs the gavel. Kody's seated stiff, eyes narrowed, jaw clenched tight. Robyn continues to look at him, muttering prayers under her breath, shaking her hands against her lap. Christine sits back further, her posture straight, her face a blend of agony and defiance. Janelle is lost in her binder full of papers, her pen nervously tapping. Meri sits in silence, her eyes jumping between them all, as if calculating every decision, every loyalty. The prosecutor doesn't lose time. She raises a fat file. "Your Honor, the following evidence was recovered after months of investigation, financial tracking, and international cooperation. These documents reveal payments from the Brown family business accounts into foreign organizations, totaling more than $7 million. The words crash home. The jury forward leans that much closer. Reporters write furiously. Robyn's mouth shut tight in a silent no. Christine closes her eyes. She's read the documents themselves, but hearing them described in court is like reopening an already dried-up wound. And just when it's most tense, the prosecutor unleashes the first bombshell. These accounts are in Kody Brown's name, and one other. The courtroom gasps. Kody bangs his hand on the table. "That's a lie. That's made up." His attorney quickly pushes him back into his seat, mouthing, "Let me handle this." But the damage has been done. The question gets around like wildfire. Who else's name is on those accounts? The prosecutor gets in closer to the jury. The second name associated with these accounts is Robyn Brown. The room erupts. Gasps, whispers, screams of shock. Robyn's hands fly to her face as tears flood through her fingers. "That's not true," she wails, shaking her head wildly. "I don't know what this is. I didn't sign anything." Kody's hand closes around her arm, holding her close. "Don't say a word. he growls through gritted teeth. But the jury's seen it. They've seen his restraint, his rage, his desperation. Christine sits stony-faced, her rage intermingling with grief. Inside, she always feared Robyn was privy to Kody's behind-the-scenes activity more than she admitted. Now the courtroom does. And here's where you need to ask yourself. Was Robyn Kody's accomplice, or merely another pawn in his desperate game? The proof is overwhelming. Bank transfers from TLC's show payments, routed through family businesses, then wired abroad. Dates, figures, signatures. It's all in here. Janelle thumbs through her binder, lips quivering. She mutters to herself, "How did I miss this? How could he keep this from me?" The prosecutor goes on, displaying wire transfers on a screen, one after another. The figures rise into the millions. Every transfer is another knife turning deeper into the family's trust. Christine leans forward, her voice low and biting, as she whispers to Janelle, "This is what I told you. This is what he's been doing." Janelle nods, finally tears streaming down her face. But Meri sits stone-faced, her face a mask. It's as if she's withdrawing inside herself, trying to ride out the tempest by showing nothing. And here's the surprise that no one anticipated. The prosecutor reveals they have a witness who assisted in arranging the offshore accounts. A witness from within the Browns' circle. The courtroom buzzes louder than ever. Who could it be? A business partner? A former friend? Or worse, one of the wives themselves? The witness is called. A man in his late 40s, wearing a plain suit, steps to the stand. He identifies himself as a financial advisor who once worked closely with the Browns. He clears his throat, his eyes scanning nervously. "Kody and Robyn Brown came to me wanting to move money out of the country. They wanted it under the radar. They told me it was to shield their family from taxes, from creditors, from anyone who would take it from them. I told them it was against the law. But they were insistent." Robyn breaks out in sobs, her head shaking wildly. "He's lying. He's lying." Kody stands up, his face flushed. "This is perjury. He's getting paid to say this." The judge bangs the gavel. "Mr. Brown, sit down, or I'll hold you in contempt." The jury observes every emotion. Robyn's meltdown, Kody's fury, Christine's vindication, Janelle's heartbreak, Meri's chill. And as testimony unfolds, a sense sets in. This is more than a fraud case. This is about survival. Who will come clean to save themselves? And who will fall defending the deception? Because in this family, loyalty has been on shaky ground. And now, it's crumbling under the pressure of $7 million. The prosecutor concludes with a hair-raising statement. "We have records, we have witnesses, and we have names. The Browns didn't stumble into this. They planned it, they carried it out, and they concealed it from the world until today." The gavel comes down, calling for recess. But the courtroom never relaxes. The press spills out to break the news. Kody and Robyn Brown, directly connected to $7 million offshore fraud accounts. Robyn grips Kody in the hall, her face tear-streaked. "What do we do?" she whispers. Kody, his voice low and rough, answers, "We deny. We fight. No one can show intent." But Christine, observing at a distance, grumbles to Janelle, "He's lying to her, as he lied to us. And eventually the truth will kill him." As cameras pop and microphones encircle the family, Meri finally has a word. Her voice is icy, firm, and appalling. "Perhaps the world would like to know who Kody really is." The reporters break out. Christine's eyes go wide. Janelle drops her jaw. Robyn gasps sharply. And Kody turns to Meri, his face contorted in anger and terror. The world has been waiting for cracks in Brown family solidarity. And with that one sentence, Meri just drove the biggest wedge yet. But here's the cliffhanger. What does Meri know? And is she willing to testify against her own husband? With offshore accounts exposed, Robyn drew into the scandal, a smoking witness, and Meri suggesting secrets that would rewrite history. The gallery is ringing with the previous recess. Whispers ring off the wooden benches, reporters frantically typing headlines of offshore accounts, and Robyn's name associated with them. But amidst the Meri, one moment remains etched in everyone's memory. Meri Brown's cold words. "Maybe it's time the world knows who Kody really is." That one sentence changed the trial. For years Meri was the quiet one, the devoted first wife, the wife who remained, even when the marriage had lost its warmth, even when Kody set her aside. But now, she has the power to upend everything. And as court resumes, everyone is watching Meri. Will she become the prosecution's star witness? Or will she reverse it all? Because here's the thing, sometimes the person who says the least in the room has the biggest secret, and Meri is about to give proof. The judge orders the room to be brought to order. The prosecutor stands. Your Honor, the state would like to have Meri Brown come forward. Gasps echo across the room. Robyn's head shakes in shock. She mutters, "No, no, she wouldn't." Christine has a mouth that opens slightly, as if she is both shocked and a relief. Janelle places a hand on her chest, her eyes darting between Meri and Kody. And Kody? His face flushes. He leans in towards his lawyer, speaking softly, harshly. "We can't allow this to happen. Stop it." She has no idea what she's saying, but the lawyer only shakes his head. It's too late. They've already summoned her. Meri gets up slowly. Her movements are deliberate, her face expressionless. She takes the oath, sits down, and has her hands neatly folded on her lap. The prosecutor speaks in a soft tone. "Meri, can you tell the court about your involvement in the Brown family's finances?" Meri lets out a deep breath, her voice gentle initially. "I didn't have control of the money. Kody and Robyn just kept most of that to themselves. But I saw things. I asked questions. And when I didn't get answers, I began to keep my own notes." The courtroom changes. Jaws hit the floor. Notes? Did Meri record it? Kody clutches the table so hard his knuckles bleach out. She's lying. She's bitter. She's the judge. Silences him. "Mr. Brown, you will be quiet." And that's the turn. The meek wife who was always ignored just became the one person who could have the receipts. The prosecutor gets up close. "Meri, what did you take notes on?" Her gaze locks with the jury's. Dates, withdrawals, conversation. Times Kody arrived home late, with papers he wouldn't share with us. Times Robyn whispered about moving money when she thought no one was watching. Robyn gasped, her hands shooting up to cover her mouth. "That's not true. That's not true. That's not true." Tears fall down her face, but the jury remains unconvinced. Christine looks at Meri with something that is almost like respect. For years they were split, caught in a struggle for Kody's attention. But today Meri's courage is a lifeline. The prosecutor nods. "Do you have these notes with you?" Meri digs into her bag. Rustling paper fills the space. She produces a battered leather notebook and sets it down carefully on the stand. "This," she says firmly, "is all I saw, all I was never supposed to see." The jury leans forward. The prosecutor takes the notebook from her, riffles its pages, scrawled dates, bank figures, initials, snippets of talk. It's unkempt, but it's authentic. Kody bangs his fist on the table. That's her imagination. She's inventing. But Meri doesn't blink. She just states, "I kept it because I knew someday the truth would matter." And suddenly the case changes. Because now it's not only financial records, it's personal testimony from within the family. The prosecutor starts reading out. August 12th, Kody departed with Robyn after supper. Came back with a folder. I inquired about it. He told me, "Just contracts. Don't worry about it." I noticed a bank name on the corner. October 3rd, fight between Kody and Janelle. She asked for an explanation of missing money from family accounts. He shouted that she was ungrateful and didn't trust him. December 19th, Christine called and cried. She said she discovered an account withdrawal she couldn't account for. Kody denied it. Each line hits like a punch. The jury writes furiously. Reporters report frenetically. The audience sits stunned as years of suspicion become a trail of paper betrayals. Robyn sobs openly now, shaking her head as if refusing to believe her name is tied to these accounts. Janelle hides her face in her hands. Christine stares at the floor, tears welling but refusing to fall. And here's the real kicker. The prosecutor reveals that some of Meri's notes align perfectly with the dates of offshore transfers. Coincidence? Or confirmation? The defense finally gets up. "Meri, isn't it true that you've been estranged from Kody for years? That you're bitter, jealous, and angry? Is it possible you wrote these notes to set him up?" Meri's eyes are wet, but her voice doesn't tremble. "Yes, I've been hurt. Yes, our marriage dissolved. But that doesn't make these dates any less real. I didn't invent the numbers. I just wrote them down." The defense smirks, but the jury don't appear convinced. In fact, they appear to feel more for Meri and Kody. He appears shattered for the first time. His shoulders slump, his anger dissipated by something uglier, fear. Because if even Meri is against him, who does he have left? The judge calls another recess. As Meri steps down, Christine reaches out and touches her arm. You did the right thing, she whispers. For a moment the years of resentment fade, replaced by something like solidarity. Janelle walks past them silently, clutching her binder tighter than ever. She's caught between loyalty and betrayal, her heart heavy. Robyn, on the other hand, slumps into her chair, crying into her hands. Kody stoops over, his voice a fierce whisper. Don't you dare shatter. Don't you dare give them what they want. His voice is no longer that of a leader, but that of a struggling man grasping at control. Outside, journalists mob Meri. Do you think Kody will be found guilty? Did you know about the foreign accounts? Why now? Meri doesn't respond. She simply walks by them, her silence speaking louder than words. And within, Kody sits solitary at the defense table, his eyes fixed on nothing, his jaw shaking. For the first time he resembles less the assured patriarch and more of a man trapped by his own decision. That ends session 3, with Meri's testimony tearing through the courtroom, her notebook of secrets exposing the cracks in Kody's defense, and the wives beginning to shift from fractured individuals to something closer to united against him. But the question on everyone's mind remains, will Janelle, the wife who has always managed the money, take the stand in a few days? And if she does, will she defend Kody or complete what Meri began? The courtroom feels like it's holding its breath. The echoes of Meri's testimony are still hanging heavy in the air. Her notebook of secrets, her steady voice, her devastating betrayal of Kody's trust. But now, everyone knows what's coming next. The one wife who always tracked the family's money. The one who knows the numbers better than anyone. The bailiff calls her name. Janelle Brown, please take the stand. A wave of tension runs through the room. Camera flashes. The jury leans forward. Janelle moves slowly forward, holding the binder like it was a shield. Her face is serene, but her eyes tell the story behind. She is sworn in, sits down, and sets the binder on the stand. And in that instant, the atmosphere changes. Because Janelle is not just another witness. She might be the only person who can validate or destroy it all. Here's the reality. Meri brought receipts, but Janelle could bring judgment. Hold on tight, because what she says could shatter Kody Brown's defense for good. The prosecutor speaks softly. Janelle, can you explain the court what you did with the finances and the family? Janelle nods. I was the one who balanced the books from the start. I managed budgets, bills, business investments. Kody had big dreams, but it was my responsibility to ensure that we could afford those dreams. I thought I knew it all. But then, money began going missing. The jurors lean forward. The prosecutor points to the binder. And is that why you brought these records? Yes, Janelle answers firmly. This is every statement, every ledger, every copy I've saved. The truth is in here. Kody bristles, muttering harshly to his attorney. Stop this, don't let her read those. But his attorney just rubs his forehead. They both know it's too late. And all along is where the trial's momentum starts to change, because Janelle isn't guessing. She's presenting numbers, concrete facts, the sort of thing no jury can possibly disregard. The prosecutor opens the binder with a flip of the cover. Pages upon pages of scribbled notes, bank records, and underlined transfers are handed to the jury. Let's examine Exhibit A, she states. This is a 2019 TLC payment, $250,000, just $150,000 of it, according to Janelle's records, ended up in the family account. The other $100,000, she hits the table. It disappeared. There are gasps around the room. Robyn shakes her head wildly, mouthing, no, that's not right. Christine grumbles under her breath. I knew it. Kody places his elbows on his knees and leans forward, his voice elevated. That money went into investments. She doesn't understand. The prosecutor ignores him. She turns to a different page. Exhibit B, 2020. A real estate transaction. $400,000 deposited. 48 hours later, $220,000 transferred to an account later determined overseas. That account belongs to Kody Brown and Robyn Brown. Robyn slumps into her chair, weeping. I didn't know, I swear. Jury members glance at each other, some sympathetic, some in doubt, but the trend is unmistakable. And here's the sucker punch. Janelle admits she confronted Kody years earlier, but he brushed her off. He told me I was overthinking, that I didn't trust him. And for a while I believed him. But then the numbers kept disappearing. The defense attempts to counter. Mrs. Brown, isn't it a fact that you made occasional errors in accounting? Don't you think you may be miscalculating these figures? Janelle's tone grows acid. No, I checked twice. I am not flawless. But money doesn't vanish. Someone had to transfer it. And the books prove who did. Her voice breaks, just a little, but she continues. I wanted to trust him. I wanted to defend this family. But the truth is, he betrayed us all. Christine looks down, her face etched with pain. Meri looks at Kody, her face cold. And Robyn cries louder, anguished between love and revulsion. The jury writes, their pencils flashing like flames. The audience stirs, the atmosphere thick with betrayal. And here's the sentence that strikes like thunder. Janelle states, Kody didn't just take money from the world. He took it from his wives, from his children, from the very people who trusted him most. The judge pounds the gavel for quiet, but it fails to stem the emotions raging. Kody pounds his fists on the table. All lies. They're all turning on me because they're bitter. Because I left them. His voice grows shrill, desperate. This isn't about money, it's revenge. But the tirade only serves to make him appear smaller. The jury sits unmoved. Even his lawyer seems tired, massaging his temples. Robyn grabs his hand, saying softly, stop please. But Kody pulls it away, looking at her as if she too had betrayed him. Christine leans over and tells Janelle in a soft voice, you did it. You finally said it. You said it out loud. And for the first time in weeks, Janelle lets out a quivering breath of relief, because the truth is out now, and nothing Kody ever says will be able to push it back into the darkness. The prosecutor slams the binder shut with a resounding thud. The evidence is plain. The money was stolen, it was concealed, and it was done on orders of Kody Brown. The judge requests another recess, but the quiet in the room is more oppressive than ever before. As the families make their way out, reporters swarm around them. Cameras flash, microphones are held in front of people. Christine speaks first, her voice trembling but strong. We're not here to destroy him. We're here because the truth matters, for our children, for everyone who trusted us. Janelle follows, holding her binder close. The numbers don't lie, and neither do I. Meri walks silently beside them, her face unreadable, but her steps steady. And then Robyn, mascara running down her face, shoulders shaking. I didn't know, she tells the cameras. I swear I didn't know. Kody blusters by them all, face contorted in rage. This isn't over, he snarls. You think you've won? You think you can destroy me? You're wrong. But his voice shakes, and everyone notices. Kody's empire has crumbled, his wives united against him, and the jury staring at evidence that seems undeniable. But will the final verdict seal his fate? Or is there still one last twist waiting? The air in the courtroom feels heavy, almost suffocating. After days of emotional testimony, mountains of financial records, and the explosive clash of the sister wives themselves, everything now comes down to this moment. The judge returns to the bench. The jury returns, faces stone cold, eyes fixed straight ahead. The gallery is silent. Even the whir of the cameras is subdued. And here's the hook that catches us all. Will Kody Brown emerge from this courthouse a free man? Or will the $7 million scandal at last bring down the empire he constructed? Stick with me, because what comes next will have you gasping. The bailiff swallows hard. All rise. Everyone rises from their seats. The voice of the judge cuts through the stillness. Members of the jury, have you reached a verdict? The foreperson, a middle-aged woman with level eyes, stands up. Yes, Your Honor. The judge nods. Hand the verdict to the clerk. The folded paper is handed to the clerk, who unfolds it slowly and hands it to the judge. The whole room leans forward, the tension almost too much to bear. The judge reads, then glances up, his face inscrutable. In the case of State of Nevada versus Kody Brown, he hesitates. Kody white-knuckles the table. Robyn covers her hands with her chest. Janelle, Christine, and Meri look at each other, tense but firm. We, the jury, find the defendant. The room is holding its breath. Guilty of fraud and misappropriation of funds. Gasps fill the courtroom. Reporters leap to their feet. Cameras flash like lightning. Robyn cries out, no, and sobs. Christine covers her face in shock, tears brimming in her eyes. Janelle breathes a sigh, as though a burden she has shouldered for 40 years has at last been removed. And Meri, she simply sits straight ahead, not a word, as though she had known that this was always going to be the inevitable conclusion. Kody, meanwhile, slams his hands against the table, his voice booming. This is a setup. You're all against me. You've poisoned them with lies. His face is red, veins bulging. The judge pounds the gavel. Order in the court. Order. But Kody will not let up. I built this family. I gave you everything. And this is how you thank me. He points scowling at his wives individually. Traitors, all of you. And here's the bombshell. Kody does not simply break down. He attacks with rage, showing the jury and world everywhere why his empire fell. Pride, arrogance, and betrayal. The judge seizes authority. Mr. Brown, you will sit. The jury has spoken. Kody sinks into his chair, shaking, his belligerence breaking into desperation. Robyn weeps hysterically, muttering, we'll fix this, but even she seems uncertain now, shaken in her faith. The judge moves on to sentencing. Considering the magnitude of the fraud, more than $7 million, and the betrayal of public and family trust, this court sentences Kody Brown to 5 years in prison, with the possibility of parole after 3. In addition, restitution of all funds must be sought. The gallery erupts a second time, half stunned, half gratified. Some whisper congratulations, others gasp at the shock. Christine whispers, it's over. Janelle nods. Finally, Meri says nothing, but her eyes shine with both pain and relief. The nightmare is over. Outside the courthouse, the media hullabaloo is charged. Reporters yell questions. Sister Wives fans cry out, some in outrage, others in vindication. Signs sway in the air, justice for the wives, and free Kody. Christine steps forward to the microphones first. This wasn't ever about destroying Kody. It was about truth. We were silenced for years. Today we were heard. Janelle steps forward next, holding her infamous binder clutched to her body. Numbers don't lie. And neither do I. I took these records not to hurt anyone, but because I felt one day we'd need the truth. That day arrived. Reporters yell at Meri. Do you forgive him? She hesitates, turns to the camera, and says, forgiveness is not forgetting. He destroyed this family long before today. The court just confirmed it. And then Robyn, mascara smudged, shaking her head, wails, you don't understand. He's not a monster. He messed up, yes, but he loved us. He loved all of us. Her voice cracks. I still love him. The audience gasps, some out of sympathy, others in shock. And here's the second major hook. Even while the verdict comes down, Robyn is not letting go, sowing seeds of doubt. Was Kody a villain, or a man broken by ambition and desperation? Back indoors, Kody is taken away in handcuffs. His head drops low, his former authoritative air shattered to a vanquished man. But as he walks past the camera, he looks up and growls, this isn't the end. You'll all see. I'll return stronger. You can't delete me. Those words stay suspended in the air. A threat, or a promise. Christine, standing back, whispers, that's what I'm afraid of. Janelle clutches her binder harder. We've made it through him before. We'll make it through him again. Meri turns and leaves the courthouse behind, wordlessly. For the first time in decades, she's no longer bound to Kody's shadow. And Robyn, she flops onto the steps, crying into her hands, repeating over and over, he's all I have. The last shot the cameras take is Kody Brown, escorted into a black van, the courthouse in the background, still smoldering in anger and denial, and thus concludes the trial that shook America. The judge has found Sister Wives' $7 million fraud caper laid bare. The jury has weighed in. The family has been irreparably altered. But here's the haunting question that will haunt us long after the jury delivers their verdict. Was this really justice, or merely the last messy page of a family that was always bound to fall apart? What do you believe? Did Kody deserve this, or is there something more going on in this saga than the court will ever discover? Leave your comments below.